Hi, friends. This week is going to be all about auras. Yes, love it. Reading auras involved perceiving and interpreting the subtle energy fields that surrounds all living beings, humans, animals, plants, all living beings, commonly known as the aura. So all this week, I'm going to be providing you with a comprehensive guide covering what auras are, how to see or sense them, what the colors mean, techniques to practice, and common tools and pitfalls. Okay? So today, I'm going to teach you about reading auras. So we need to go back to the three bodies. And for those of you who work with me, have heard me talk about this, so I'm going to do it as briefly as I can, okay? Because everything ties to the three bodies. You have three bodies, do you? Yes, you do. You do. You have a physical body, you have a spiritual body, and you have a programming body, which is your mind, right? Uh, And we're going to go back to the grilled cheese analogy because it works. It's funny, but it works. Your physical body is a piece of bread, okay? Your spiritual body is the other piece of bread. And between these two pieces of bread, the programming body, which is the gooey cheese that stucks them together, okay? So your programming body, it's your mind in linear time. It's that sticky cheese that hold the spiritual body and the physical body together, okay? Now we need not spiritual line. We need time, linear time. Time is not linear. We know this, but we need, as humans, we do need linear time. Linear time, when I say linear time, I mean Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know my days. I do. I promise I do. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? And we need January, February, March, April. We need 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock to organize our lives. That's when I talk about linear time, that's what I mean. Because time in the spiritual realm is not linear. Time is an illusion, right? But we need that illusion. Oh my God, we need so many illusions. We do, because it will be chaotic, okay? In reality, everything is happening at the same time. But imagine, I can run my brain around that. I mean, I understand it, but I couldn't imagine how we could survive, deal, we couldn't, right? So we need that. Um, So when we read auras, instead of going directly to the other piece of bread, to the spiritual body, we want to have in mind that they are layers that will allow us to go deeper and have much more comprehensive and clear readings. Okay. So we're going to start at the beginning. When you came down here to this incarnation, you started with only a spiritual body, right? You decided, I want to have an incarnation as a spiritual teacher. Oh, okay, good. So you came down here with only your spiritual body. On your way down here, you collected your programming body, and then you put those two bodies in a body in the form of a baby in the utero. Okay, that's how it works. So this baby is like a clean canvas, right? It doesn't have any tendencies or bad habits. It doesn't have anything, right? Their time boxes are empty. And that's another story for another day, okay? When I teach this class, I teach people all about the time boxes and how that works, not only with the auras, but also with everything else that has to do with the spiritual realm. And I often use this analogy, okay, to explain time boxes. Think about it as a car. Your spirit is the driver. The car is your physical body. And the programming body is the time boxes. The time boxes are the suitcases that you fill up along the way, okay, on this human trip. Make sense? Yes. So that baby is empty. It has the three bodies, but all the time boxes are there. The time boxes are actually boxes, right? All the suitcases, but all those suitcases because you haven't had any experiences yet. But as soon as you come into this world, you start putting stuff in those boxes, in those suitcases, right? So if we look at ourselves in that way, we can clearly see that we are complex beings with many, 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 many layers, okay? When we have a good understanding of all of the layers, then we can provide with a more in-depth reading. That's a mediumship reading, aura reading, any kind of reading, because we're not only reading the surface, we are going deep. We can see the differences in the layers and we can read each layer. And that's how I teach how to read the auras. So these are the things that you will be reading in the auras. For example, if you have two friends, okay? You have two friends, they're both 30 years old. One of them had massive losses in their lives, massive losses. And we're going to be stereotypical here just for the sake of the example, okay? So because people are different, okay? So the friend that has had massive losses, most of their time boxes are filled with blue sadness. And this is just for the visual ones. You know, most people, a lot of people are not visual, but most people are visual. So this friend A that have massive losses, most of their suitcases are filled, most of their time boxes are filled with blue sadness, okay? The other friend B, has had many violent experiences. So their time boxes, which were clear, now they're started, when they started now, they're filled with red energy, okay? Every experience they have moving forward, they will see through these time boxes, okay? Because that's all they know. You cannot behave through the experiences of another. You behave through the experiences of your life, right? And that's how we filter information through your time boxes. These time boxes become your tinted glasses. Okay. So one friend, everything is going to be seen through blue sadness, and the other friend is going to see through red anger. Okay. That's why it's so important to go to therapy and do your shadow work, because we're able to take a look at our time boxes and go like, hey, I really don't want this much red or this much blue. So we clean up and we fill the time boxes with other experiences. So we have different colors. We have the experiences, the color experiences that we want to have. Glasses change. How about that? Yeah. Okay. Because we have all kinds of colors that we can see life through. Okay. Now there's a standard in aura readings. Okay. And this goes to our intuitive card readings too. If you have taken intuitive tarot with me, you have heard me say many, many times that it's important to know the meanings of the card. Okay. But you must allow the card to speak to you, because many times it's going to give you a different message of what the card means, okay? Because people that learn all of the meanings of the cards, every time they see one card, the same card, they're going to say the same thing. And that's just not a good reading, okay? You need to let the card, allow the card to speak to you, okay? To give you the messages for that specific person that's in front of you, okay? So in terms of auras, we're going to start with a standard part, okay? But if any color gives you a different meaning, that you should go with that. It's just like with tarot. We're going to start understanding what tarot means. That's important, okay? It's the basis of it. So you want the basis of the color chart. That's important to know. Because, well, first, because every intuitive will see a different color. Just like you lay 3 tarot cards down and you get 100 readers, you'll get 100 interpretations of the same 3 cards, right? Well, it's the same with the aura colors. You should always trust your intuition, because when you see a color and you only stick to what the chart says, you're going to lose a lot of information, okay? And a lot of people do wonderful readings using chakra colors, and that is fantastic. I'm not going to say that it's not, because I'll be lying. But if you're comfortable and you are receiving a message about that yellow being angry, but you're like, that's not right. Yellow is a sunny and wonderful disposition. You're going to be missing about the anger that person is hiding behind their yellow disposition. Yellow sunny disposition. Okay. So after you have tried all the different methods and you pick and choose what's going, you're going to figure out what is going to best for you. Okay. And I'm going to be that teacher. I'm going to be that teacher that's going to push you to try things in your own way, because that's the way that you are going to shine. Okay. Because what works for me, it doesn't necessarily gonna work for you. So I'm gonna teach you all these different tools, and you're gonna try them all until you're like, this really clicks with me. Every time I use this technique, my readings are like bomb. I'm gonna push you. I will never say that's not right. My way is the right way, because there's many ways, and every person is different, and your intuition is gonna be different, and you have to let that flow, okay? You need to trust your own ability. You need to trust your own intuition. You need to trust the messages that your higher self and your guides are giving you, okay? That are not necessarily in the charts or in the meaning of the cards in the little book that the cards come with, right? It's great to follow a chart, to follow the book, the guide that provide about what the card means, to introduce you to the concept of whatever you're doing, okay? And when you feel comfortable and at ease, then you let your intuition guide you, not the chart, okay? So for the rest of the week, I'm going to provide you with said chart and a lot of more information. But if you want to learn all about auras and how to do a very in-depth aura reading, let me know and we can talk about that class, okay? Happy aura reading!